right, wrong. I want justice to be something that isn't this foreign concept.
Justice knows no boundaries. The truth will be heard. Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Devin Thomas is suing Sean Dover in the amount of $350. Mr. Thomas claims Mr. Dover sold him a pair of shoes that were damaged and pre-worn. Mr. Dover claims the plaintiff was fully aware of what he was buying.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Deputy Thomas. All right, so Mr. Thomas, tell me about these tennis shoes.
Well, I'm a sneakerhead, so I collect shoes.
Sneakerhead. What's a sneakerhead?
Person that's in love with their shoes.
Oh, that's your jam, huh?
Yeah, that's my thing to do. You know, I don't do drugs, I don't drink, I hardly ever go out partying, but I do collect my shoes.
And Mr. Dover, what's your story? How did you come in contact with Mr. Thomas?
I came in contact with Mr. Thomas through social media. He like a fan on my Facebook, on my IG actually.
Yeah, he's following you on Instagram.
I see him. What I do is
you see him as fans.
Yeah, he's a fan.
That's how cocky people talk.
He's definitely a fan.
Why are you
He's
following
definitely a fan. Yeah.
Because he sells sneakers. I'm a sneakerhead. My boy, he's
I
one
got
that
a
told
really
me
big
about
following
his
selling sneakers. I got like probably over 10,000 people that follow me. I sell sneakers. Been doing it for about 2 years now.
Okay.
And
so you sell sneakers, and everyone that sees your social media knows that that's your jam.
Okay.
So you're following him because he sells sneakers. Had you ever had any sort of transaction with him before?
Not previously.
All right. What happened as to this occasion as to why we're here?
First he DM'd me. I didn't respond because I get like a lot of DMs at once. So,
okay.
But he was being thirsty about it. He like commented on the picture.
No, wait.
Yeah,
why are you
thirsty?
He was like really determined to get this shoe. Like,
okay. So if I walk in the Foot Locker, I'll be thirsty
messages.
if I ask for a pair of shoes at Foot Locker?
You went on social media and contacted.
Why wouldn't you just go to a store then? Why did you?
Because they were sold out.
Okay.
I missed the release
date.
So
then you were a little thirsty.
Not thirsty. I mean, I wasn't dehydrated.
You were like, I want those shoes.
That's what got my attention. He put his PayPal right under one of the messages and said he ready to do the transaction
You
right
put
now.
it, okay. You immediately put the money on PayPal?
No, well, you go through PayPal to use it.
And
so
how much time had elapsed from the time he said okay to when you put it on PayPal?
It was about 30 minutes.
Oh, you were thirsty.
About 2 minutes.
You were thirsty.
30, try 2.
You were like, I want those shoes. And what was the agreement?
He was going to deliver them the next morning at 10 a.m.
Is that true?
At my house.
Is that true?
That was the agreement.
Because here's what happens with a contract. You got offer, you got acceptance, you got consideration. Your offer was, I want to buy those shoes. Right, Mr. Thomas? Mr. Dover said, you can have the shoes. It's going to cost you $350. Am I right so far? Mm-hmm. And the consideration was what you took in terms of PayPal and transferred the monies. So we got a contract. Mm-hmm. Did you get the shoes?
Yes, I did.
You got the shoes. You made sure he got the shoes.
Yes.
All right. Did you actually give him the shoes the very next day?
Yeah, it was the very next day. I'm also a promoter, so I had the event that night.
All right. I don't need to know about that. I just need to know that you said you were going to give him the shoes. You got his money already. Mm-hmm. And did he get the shoes?
Yeah, he got them.
Late.
Okay. Well, how late is late?
He was supposed to be at 10 a.m. I didn't get the shoes till 5 p.m.
You got them the next day, 6 hours, 7 hours later than what?
Yes.
But you got them the next day.
Yes, but it was an inconvenience because my mom was in the hospital, which is why I couldn't pick him up the first day.
What was wrong with your mom?
She was sick.
Okay. Is she doing okay now?
Catching the flu, yeah. She's getting better, but
well, if she was in the hospital, she had more than just the flu, right?
Bad flu.
Okay.
But
and you had been spending time with her.
Yes.
But you were willing to leave her to go get these shoes.
No, I was not at first.
The thirst is real, yeah.
The first night, that's why we waited till next morning, because I wanted to be with my mom. If it was my girlfriend, okay, I probably would have left.
Oh,
and when I got the shoes.
Yeah.
Well,
clearly, shoes before women.
Well, yeah, in that case, because she's not permanent, but my mom was always my mom. You know what I mean?
So it's certain women before shoes.
Exactly.
Huh? Oh, okay.
My mom before everything.
Okay. All right, I got you. You ultimately got the shoes.
Yeah. So
why are we here?
We're here because the shoes had already been worn. Are those the shoes right there? These are the shoes right here.
Deputy Thomas, let me take a look.
Is there one in there too? Oops.
Yes, there's one.
And they came in the box, and that box looks a little raggedy.
Look at the shoe. There's no way I would send a shoe that looks like that to somebody else in my city. That
well, you
doesn't
did.
Make sense at all. That man's
I mean, so you think I just did that?
These are $350?
This man that played
$350.
This man that played at least 20 pickup games in those. Ain't no way that I didn't gave him that shoe, man.
Coming up on America's Court.
Why are you giving him a pair of shoes that you've worn and he's already paid for them?
And later.
You're a student, right?
They wore
Yes.
shorts.
What are you studying?
I'm studying nursing.
Okay, you need to study the art of silence.
Closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. We're back with the case of Devin Thomas, who is suing Sean Dover for selling him damaged property.
Like I was explaining to him in the test, the very professional test, I explained to him, I'm a promoter, and that night I had an event coming up, and I told him I'm out of 11 and a half. All I got is this 11 that I previously had on the night before.
That who previously had on?
That I previously had on the night before.
Stop! Why are you giving him a pair of shoes that you've worn and he's already paid for them?
That's
Exactly.
basically what happens. I had an event that night, and when I come to the event, I usually keep a few with me because when I come to the club, people was like, "You got them on already? Can I cop them?" We go out to the parking lot, whatever. I exchange. So like I said, in that time, I got a little intoxicated. I'm selling them. I ran out. All I had was on my 11. So the next morning, when I wake up, I see his missed calls and whatnot with the shoes. I'm thinking like, oh man, I done sold the man's shoe. So what I do was I sent him a very well detailed text saying, explain, I'm sorry. All I got is this 11 that I've only wore one time. Now, if you want your money back, that's cool, but I can send you this 11.
I'm
me my money
listening to
back?
you right now, and I feel like I'm listening to a bag of Skittles in a blender. I said all of that, and you don't want to pay this man
I don't want to pay
the
him.
money back because you were out clubbing and promoting and drinking, and you had on the shoes, then you took the shoes off, and then you gave him the size that's a half a size too
He fully
small,
agreed to it.
and he takes the shoes and gets them and says, I don't want them, and now pay me my money back.
No, not at all. Not at all. I wish I had to say it. I explained to him that, the people do this all the time. So you wear a shoe once or whatever, and
No,
the
people
shoe,
don't do that
the
all
shoe
the
still
time.
brand.
Well, then why wouldn't you just go to a regular store? Why would you go through
They were
him?
sold out in regular stores, which is why he was able to charge me $350 for them.
Which is
they
a
come
great
out
price.
first
That's a great
retail
price, 'cause you know
at
everybody else is selling
180.
$500.
They come out regularly at
Oh,
180.
you paid over the amount.
Way over.
No, after release day, he knows them shoes, after they're gone, you see people online for $500, $1,000, anything.
So this is a little hustle where the shoes sell out.
Yes.
And then you can then bump up the price, and people are scrambling to get them.
Yeah, and that was a
Yes.
great price,
Right.
even though
Yeah.
$350 is a great price.
So what's your beef?
My beef is that my shoes were worn
Got
and
it.
scuffed.
Explain that to him.
And
It wasn't
I mean,
scuffed.
what am I going to do with some shoes that's already
was
been
no
worn?
scuff, and
I'm trying to step
When you
out
saw
fresh.
them, they were scuffed,
No.
and were you wearing them?
On Instagram, they were not scuffed.
It's
He showed
funny.
a picture
I
of brand new
explained
shoes.
I explained to him that I wore these shoes. He was cool. I explained it. I wore it that one time. It's fresh.
You
It's-
wore the shoes one time. Okay. And so when you saw the shoes and you saw they were scuffed,
Yes.
did you immediately say, here are the shoes
No.
back?
Yeah, I called him because he
No.
was not there because he had
No.
to drop
And
them
then
off
what? And then
because he
what?
was late.
And then
I
what?
called him and he said, "Oh, well, I mean, I didn't wear them." He denied it. He
Okay.
denied the fact.
So
that
then
he
you
was-
said, give me my money back, and that's
Yes.
why we're here.
Yes.
All right.
That's exactly why we're here.
And then, so you didn't wear the shoes, you didn't do anything with them?
No.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'm glad he just said he didn't wear the shoe. Can I show you some evidence, please?
Yes. And there's no disputing that the 350, right? What is the evidence that you're showing me here, sir?
That's a picture of him in the shoe on Instagram, getting a compliment by somebody wearing the shoe, and him responding back to the compliment. The shoe that he just said he didn't wear.
Well, she likes scuffed shoes. What's the big deal?
Stop.
Did I
I
pay
asked
350?
you, did you wear the shoes?
Well, I forgot about that time.
Okay, now you're sounding stupid. It says on here, you say yuck, the other person says nice J's, then you say, I stay in the flyest. So that means you were profiling the shoes. You were good until you put those shoes on. You were good because there was no way I was not going to have him pay you back and you were going to give him those shoes. But once you wore them, because I wear the same size as you. They had to have hurt if they're the wrong size.
I got a corn from it, actually.
Okay. He doesn't get it, Deputy Thomas.
No, he doesn't.
Maybe you'll get it this way. Your matter's dismissed. Case closed.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
I'm glad things went my way. I tried to do good business with the man, and it didn't work out.
I learned my lesson. I'm done shopping on social media.
And coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
The manual that you read via his email said, do not wear shorts above the knee.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Lindy Nelson is suing Ray Phillips in the amount of $752. Ms. Nelson believes Mr. Phillips wrongfully terminated her. Mr. Phillips claims the plaintiff did not follow the workplace dress code.
All praise, Ms. Sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Deputy Thomas. We've got an issue about attire. You are suing your former boss because of some shorts that you wore to work.
Yes, I had applied for the job, and I have a lot of retail experience, so I had a lot of confidence when I applied to the job.
And what made you decide to hire her, sir?
I was in a bind. I'm a business owner that's been running my business for over 5 years now successfully, and
Okay.
I had to go out of town. I saw her retail experience. It was a good resume.
How long were you working before it became a problem?
4 days.
4 days, then we have a problem. What happened on day 4?
She was supposed to be there Friday, which she told me she would for training. And then when I called her on Thursday to confirm this, she told me all of a sudden she couldn't make it. So that was the beginning of this relationship. Was all
You
based off
hired
of a
her
lie.
Tuesday. You said you're going to start Friday with training.
With training.
Was she going to be paid to be trained on Friday?
It was a light paid training day, yes.
All right. Did you call him on Thursday saying, I can't make it Friday?
Well, that's
called
not
her.
what he said to me. I wasn't aware that I was hired on Tuesday at that time. I thought that he was just, telling me, if you do get hired, then yes, we have a training thing on Friday.
I told you looked
No.
Sir,
great.
talk to me.
No,
Talk to me.
he called me up on Thursday, the day before my class, when I can't go into my professor and say, hey, can I, have Friday off? I'm not going to be around. I have to do job training.
When you heard from him on Thursday, are you telling me you were surprised to hear from him?
Yes, I was surprised.
You were surprised?
Yes.
If she didn't go to the training on Friday, how was she able to perform the duties on Saturday?
So once we had the conversation that she couldn't make it, I told her, well, I was a little annoyed. I tried my best to, not show that over the phone, but I was very annoyed.
So I'm going to work with you anyway.
So I was going to work with her anyway, and that I was going to email her our manual and to please read it before her shift on Saturday.
Did he email the manual?
Yes, he did, and I did read it before my shift.
You did read it?
Yes.
The manual contained all the policies,
Yes.
procedures,
Yes.
Dress
do's,
code.
Everything.
don'ts, and it included the dress code.
Yes.
Yes.
And what did it say specifically about the dress code?
I can tell you by heart, line 4.
so. Yes.
By heart, shorts should be no shorter
Wait,
than.
you just said I can do it by heart. Now
shorts,
he's reading.
Shorts should be no shorter than slightly above the knee.
Anything that is considered a short pair of pants,
Yes.
it needs to be below the knee.
Yes.
And did that apply to men and women?
No.
It applied to both. I mean, men have a dress code, and as well as women have a dress code.
Is there any specifics about gender as it pertains to the shorts?
Yes.
I'm asking him.
Okay.
No, Your Honor. I mean, shorts are shorts. I keep a very
In the
tight shirt.
manual, does it make any distinction between the men and the women?
No, Your Honor, it does not.
It does not. What are you looking at?
Well, men have a dress code as well, and it says the exact same thing. I mean, khaki pants within style of the store is allowed.
Does it
and work
make a
appropriate
reference
shorts.
to the men in terms of where the short falls in relation to the knee?
It does not.
It does not. You are making a distinction based on gender.
Yes.
Yes. When I initially asked you, was there a difference, you said, no. Which one is it?
There is a difference.
There
There's a
is
slight
a difference. Why is there a difference as it pertains to the men versus the women?
Well, Your Honor, I'm very serious on sexual harassment, and I just want to keep a really tight
Sexual
shift.
harassment can be on the receiving end of a man or a woman. The perpetrator can be a man or a woman.
It's true.
Why is there a distinction as to where the short falls in relation to the knee for the women versus the men.
I feel that it's appropriate and it features a healthy work
Well,
environment.
Say
men
that
are allowed to wear shorts,
ma'am?
but women are not.
Are you a student,
Well,
right?
they wore
Yes.
shorts.
What are you studying?
I'm studying nursing.
Okay, you need to study the art of silence.
Coming up on America's Court.
Stop.
I'm sorry,
The
Your Honor.
boss says, do not wear this, and you say, I'm doing it anyway.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. We're back with the case of Lindy Nelson, who is suing Ray Phillips for wrongful termination.
You made a decision based on your own perceptions that there was going to be a distinction between men and women.
Absolutely, which is my right to do as my store.
Yes, the shorts were above the knee, but I figured because he had been
Does the
selling them
manual
in
say they
his...
cannot be above the knee?
Yes, but
Okay,
if being that
why
they're being
would you
sold
wear
in his
shorts?
store...
Stop. Why would you wear shorts if the manual says, do not wear shorts above the knee?
Because it was, I figured it would be okay because he was selling it in his store and he's promoting other
The
people.
manual that you read via his email said, do not wear shorts above the knee. Why did you have to wear the shorts that are in direct violation with what he said don't do?
Because I've been wearing the dresses and the slacks the other days and I wanted to
The
change
response
it up.
that I'm hearing is because I wanted to. The boss says, do not wear this, and you say, I'm doing it anyway. Are these the shorts?
Yes, they are.
You look very nice in them. Let's take
thank
a look
you.
at that on the plasma.
Thank you.
Very professional. They're way above the knee.
Way above the knee.
Way above the knee. Way above the knee.
I understand. I see that.
You look great.
Thank you.
That's not the look he wants.
Right.
I get it. And did you fire her as a result?
Yes, I did.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. You're watching America's Court with Judge Ross. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
What's the takeaway for you?
The takeaway from me is, I guess, that I'm going to have to start really listening to my managers, and I really can't push any lines, even though the person sells the clothing in the store and promotes it for other people. I'm not allowed to wear those certain things.
What are you majoring in?
Nursing.
Okay. You're going to be all right. Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel must come down in favor of the plaintiff. In employment, you can't discriminate based on gender. You can't discriminate for race. You can't discriminate for sexual orientation. And once you made the distinction between the boys and the girls, do not pass go, do not collect $200. You will pay her $752. That is the order. Case closed.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $752.
I really appreciate the judge was able to see my side of the story, and I hope that Mr. Phillips begins to treat his employees equally.
After the judge's decision today, I'll take time to rethink my dress code policies. I definitely don't want anything like this happening again moving forward.
Follow America's Court on Facebook and Twitter. This has been a production today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
She goes, oh, well, I started a little business babysitting. And I'm like, you can't do that. I'm a neighborhood trustee. And when I told her, she basically just said, forget you.
The whole purpose behind law is to right wrong. I want justice to be something that isn't this foreign concept.
Justice knows no boundaries. The truth will be heard. Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Diane Cooper is suing her neighbor Kelly Jones in the amount of $6,000. She says the defendant forced her to shut down the daycare center she operated out of her apartment. Ms. Jones claims the plaintiff had no legal right to operate a business out of her home.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties have been sworn, Your Honor.
All right, good Deputy Thomas. Ms. Cooper,
Yes.
You have a lawsuit going on here over some daycare issues
Yes, Your
to
Honor.
the tune of $6,000.
Yes, I had, I'm originally an elementary school teacher, first
Okay.
grade, and a couple of the members of my community, my immediate neighbors, needed help just over the summer.
Did you stop teaching?
There was a car accident and I had to take some time off, but it was summer vacation.
So you were still working as a full-time teacher, but you were off during the summer.
Yes and no. I had taken some time on disability.
Is this because of the accident?
Yes, sir.
All right. What happened to you in the accident?
It was I had some recuperation to do, a couple of broken bones, and
Oh, it was pretty serious.
my husband was killed in the accident. So
Just the two of you in the car,
yes,
and he died.
yes, sir.
Oh, that's tough. How long has it been?
Just a little over a year.
That's tough. I'm sorry to hear that. And so not only were you having to recover physically, but how long the two of you had been married?
10 years.
Do you have any children?
2 girls, twins.
What was the relationship with Miss Jones?
We're neighbors, but I have had her older son in my class, and she has a younger boy that's very charming as well.
Okay.
We just crossed paths going out for a walk one afternoon, and she mentioned that her mom was ill. Her mom had been taking care of her boys during the summer.
Because you were working full-time, I take it?
Yes, sir.
And are you married?
Yes, sir.
Both you and your husband work?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're real estate agents.
And I take it that during the course of the typical day, you needed someone to watch the kids during the summer months.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Okay. So explain to me what made you decide that you would have the plaintiff watch your children.
Well, I was out on a walk with my boys, and
Yes.
I ran into the plaintiff, and we were just chatting, and I told her that, typically my mom watches my boys for me over the summer.
And you already knew Miss Cooper because your boy was in her classroom.
Exactly.
So
yes.
there was a comfort there, right?
Yes, sir.
I get it.
Yeah.
And so it was like, how about we help each other sort of thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what was the agreement?
She would watch both my boys $300 each over the summertime. So,
I
so
thought
it'd
you
be
were getting ready to say a
$600.
week. I was like, wow,
No,
that's...
it was a week.
It was a week?
It was. Yeah,
Oh, that's-
$600 for both boys per week.
Wow.
I really liked her husband. They've been in the community for a long time. I really wanted to help her out.
And you
Especially
you
with
knew
the
her
accident.
husband. Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
And it was a good relationship
It was.
under some trying circumstances?
Yes.
Yes.
I was
Absolutely.
appreciative that she offered.
And so you have your 2 and she had your 2.
Yes.
So that's 4.
Right.
Right.
And no problems.
Right.
Right.
And then there becomes a problem.
Yes.
Yes.
I was approached by another neighbor whose daughter is the same age as my girls. They
Did
spend a
your
lot of
girls
time
know
together.
her daughter?
Yes, they spend a lot of time together. She's another neighbor, and
Also looking for summer?
for summer.
Isn't
And
it tough as being a parent and you're like,
Well,
when
and
they're
I-
in school during the school year, you're like, I got this rolling. And in the summer, you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do
well,
with
no, I
them?
love it. And a couple of years ago, when my husband was still here, he was an investment banker, so I didn't have to worry about money or whatever. And I just had the kids over for free. So I was appreciative that they were, offering.
You
to
were
pay
that
me.
house that all the kids would go to and have fun and hang out. So you said, well, if I want to do this and I can charge.
Ultimately, it became three moms. I had my 2 and 5 other children. And
Also, now how did we
Yes.
jump to 7?
it was the first 2 weeks of summer.
Because you have her 2,
Right,
your
and the
2,
kid- I mean,
and then the daughter. That's 5. Where did the other
Honestly,
2 come from?
with the summers in the past, it was really Kelly's kids that were the addition because the other children
Well,
were
I
around a
understand
lot.
her 2 boys, your 2
Right.
girls. Then the other woman had a daughter the same age as your 2.
And then 2 more boys the same age as her son.
2 more boys.
Mm-hmm. And I felt the need, especially, hoping to be returning to my regular job in a couple of months, that I should look into what the laws were with regards to having that many kids. And
Because
in the
you
state.
had an issue with there being too many kids.
Yes, sir. $300 a week per kid is a lot of money. And, for getting individualized attention, $300, well, it's a little
it.
high, but, I
Right.
get it. It's fine.
If it's more
But
one-on-one, but when those kids start exponentially growing.
absolutely.
Yes,
and I
yes.
didn't know about it.
coming up on America's Court.
And she goes, oh, well, I started a little business babysitting. And I'm like, you can't do that. And when I told her, she basically just said, forget you.
And later.
That's not the same property as this.
Man.
There was no damage.
Hello? That is not the same property.
Listen, you tell my girlfriend that.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. We're back with the case of Diane Cooper, who is suing Kelly Jones for breach of contract.
What happened is I went and found out in Missouri, if you have more than 2 unrelated children in your home, you have to go through the health department and get certified for daycare. So I started taking those steps.
Yes.
And coincidentally, Ms. Jones came in to pay me, which that never happened. She saw that there were 7 children running around, and I told her, you know, I'm going to make sure that everybody's taken care of and it's all legal, and she lost it. You can't do that under some paper that my husband signed.
What happened was I actually went in to pay her for the month of July, and she opened the door, and there's 7 kids running around the place. I'm like, whoa, wait. You know,
I didn't get the memo.
I understood 4.
Right.
You know, what happened to the other 3?
That was the first day the other 2 boys were there, so I hadn't really had a chance to talk to anyone about it yet.
And so?
And so I told her that, you know, what exactly is going on, and she goes, oh, well, I started a little business babysitting. And I'm like, you can't do that. I'm a neighborhood trustee. And when I told her, she basically just said, forget you. It doesn't apply to me. I didn't sign it. The point isn't that she didn't sign it.
That's not exactly how the conversation went. I didn't know what you were talking about at that time.
Because she's in the house, she's owned the house, she's benefited from the neighborhood indentures.
And now you've been transferred the ownership of the house because your husband's deceased.
Right. And honestly, I called my husband's attorney to see maybe I had signed that form, and apparently not. I don't know what papers I signed. Well, Your Honor, this was not going to be a long-term profession. I was just for the summer. And I had $600 for daycare. I'd already provided for her that she never paid me for. And for the duration of the 2 months, it would have been another $5,400 from the other 2 moms, who I have letters from, who did not like the way she handled it. But
what happened with the other 2 moms?
She called them that night and told them not to come back. And
you
they
knew the
did
moms?
not.
Yes, I know the moms.
And you
what
said,
I did was
don't come back because...
No, what I tried to do was handle the matter privately so that the gossip mill of the neighborhood would not take over. I called them up and I said, you know, we have a problem here. Ms. Cooper is running an illegal daycare. I was
making it legal. I didn't know that I was in violation.
So Judy O'Brien was one of the moms?
Yes.
Ms. Jones called to say you weren't allowed to legally watch our kids because of some neighborhood indenture.
Right.
The last thing I want to be a part of is any uncomfortable circumstance that involves a contract. I think it's right what she did, and she should have handled it very differently. So this is what one of the moms saying. You didn't handle it the right way.
The next morning, no one showed up. That was just done.
She's right.
But
what do you have? Yes.
I have the neighborhood indenture, which says that you cannot run a small business within the neighborhood without a special exception.
Right.
And if she had just
so Ms.
listened
Bondo
to me,
is saying the same thing. She thought the way you handled it was very unprofessional, and the way she pressured us all to drop your services.
Yeah, the next morning, no kids showed up.
Ruined it.
I didn't even know what was going on.
And I prefer to handle it higher.
You owe her $600 for services that she did render. Why not pay her that?
Because the $300 was built upon the notion that she would be basically private tutoring my kids over the summer.
So when you pulled your kids out, where did you send them?
I sent them to a regular daycare down the road.
And how much did you have to pay a week for them?
$150.
All right. So you still had to come out of pocket.
Yes, sir.
But you already received the benefit of her service, and you don't want to pay her. I understand not paying her beyond that, but what I really find unfortunate is that you cannot have enough compassion to at least pay her for the services she did render.
Your Honor, I don't feel that she rendered the services that I agreed to.
I don't think you're feeling, period. You don't feel. Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel must come down in favor of the defendant. You
can't operate a business illegally and then expect it to be enforced by a court.
I understand. I just didn't
You
know.
have to come into court with clean hands.
I understand.
You understand?
Just wish she would have helped me go after the exemption. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what she was talking
I understand.
about. I could
Best of
have
luck
helped
to
them
you.
well.
Your
Thank
matter's
you.
dismissed.
Thank you so
Case
much.
closed.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim is denied.
I'm sensitive to her situation, but she needs to follow the rules.
Well, next time I'll have to make sure I go through all the proper channels before I start something like this.
Coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
That's not the same property as this.
Man. There was no damage.
Hello? That is not the same property.
Listen, you tell my girlfriend that.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Tisha Blake is suing her neighbor Norman Thompson in the amount of $237.50. She says the defendant let the air out of her tires and she was forced to pay for a tow truck. Mr. Thompson claims the plaintiff blocked his car in his driveway and is countersuing for damage to his yard when he tried to get out.
So, Ms. Blake, you're suing Mr. Thompson for $237.50 because apparently Mr. Thompson here flattened your tires.
Yes,
and
he
Mr.
did.
Thompson, you're suing her because your flower beds were destroyed.
Correct.
And you guys are neighbors all over the Taste of Soul event in Los Angeles off of Crenshaw. So how did we get to this point? What happened with your tires, ma'am?
Well, he flattened my tires.
Did you flatten her tires?
Yes.
Yeah, I flattened them. Yeah, I did.
All right. And why were you so in a tizzy, if you will?
What she did was, I came out my house one day, and I have a narrow driveway, and I drive an SUV.
Okay.
So, and she knows this. And we never had a problem like this before, you know? So, it blew my mind when I came out my house, and my driveway's only but so wide. So,
okay.
And I'm saying to myself, who is blocking my driveway?
Oh, she blocked you in.
So he claims.
Correct.
So he claims that I blocked his driveway. I did not block his driveway.
Well, did you recognize her car?
Yeah, because I flattened her tires. Yeah, I sure did.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, because that's very mature. And when you were doing this, were you thinking, well, maybe I should go talk to her? Was there an emergency? Is there a reason why she's blocking my driveway?
Well, you know, I was so angry, so frustrated.
Why were you so angry?
Because, for one, in order to get around her car, this is my first house, by the way, so in order to get around her car, I ran over my girlfriend's flowers.
Your girlfriend lives with you?
Right, correct.
Okay.
So now, I'm hearing this in the house all day long. I'm getting this heat. I'm not getting no loving. I mean, it's you know.
That's why he's angry.
I understand.
Over some flowers. You know, over some flowers. You know what I mean?
Because you were trying to get out of your driveway.
Correct.
And what, the flowers were in close proximity to the driveway?
It caused me to go around her
they
vehicle.
were not.
And then I went into my lawn, and I ran over the flowers
Just to get out.
that my girlfriend had just recently planted.
Coming up on America's Court.
That's not the same property as this.
Man.
There was no damage.
Hello? That is not the same property.
Listen, you tell my girlfriend that.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. We're back with the case of Tisha Blake, who is suing Norman Thompson for property damage. Mr. Thompson is countersuing for the same.
I called my sister and I told her to get here early. She was going to bring her girlfriend over and everything.
For what purpose?
For the event. For the Taste of Soul event.
Oh, they were going to park at your house.
Exactly. Yeah, and I had
So
them
their
park.
driveway was
I
completely
had
packed.
them park at my house, and then I said, "Don't, it's fine," because they came late. So that kind of messed things up for me.
And so you were going to work though.
Yeah, I was on my way to work, but I was going to come back so that we can go to the Taste of Soul event. Yeah.
Where were you going to park if that car was in the driveway?
My driveway.
I found a spot. I did find a spot. There was plenty. There was a lot of cars, but
Where
I still
was your
found
car in relation to his driveway?
It wasn't even that close, but he claims that it was too close.
Well, you know
to where
my
he,
driveway was
where
but
he
so
lives.
wide.
So did you see the damage to the flower beds and the flowers?
No, there was no damage.
Yana, I have evidence right here.
Show me.
Can I see it all?
Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And when you is it you're funny. Well, no. Let's take a look at the picture with the flowers, the
Look at
pink
that.
flowers. So this is what your girlfriend planted, And this
that's the starting. Now, we flip it, you'll see what the damage is.
All right, so if we flip it and go to the next picture. So, okay, so what is what am I seeing here? What is that?
That's the tread marks from the tire from me trying to get around her vehicle, and I ran over the flowers. You see,
Okay,
flowers used to be there.
That doesn't look like the same, even the same area. The concrete is much more smooth
because it's
here.
fine. That's because it's fine. There was no damage.
That's not the same property as this.
Man.
There was no damage.
Hello? That is not the same property.
Listen, you tell my girlfriend that, okay? Yana. I'm sorry.
There was no damage. The damage was he flattened my tires.
There. You see,
that's the damage.
Yana, I'm serious. Flowers used to be there.
Yeah, drink some water.
The damage is he flattened my tires.
This is not
that's the damage.
Those two pictures don't match up.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. You're watching America's Court with Judge Ross. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
It's not a lot to ask to say, would you not block my driveway? Was it juvenile? Yes. Was it immature? Yes. Could he have done it a better way? Absolutely. But you're at fault here. So, your claim, that's not going to happen. Not up in here. Not today. So your matter's dismissed. The $72.95 to replace the flowers, I'll give you that. So your judgment will be that amount. Your matter's dismissed. Case closed.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff is ordered to pay $72.95.
I'm so excited about winning. Now I can plant some more flowers in my garden.
I really enjoyed the taste of soul, but my neighbor left a bad taste in my mouth.
Follow America's Court on Facebook and Twitter. This has been a production of Entertainment Studios. Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
The tree became very sad.
The tree became sad?
Well, yes. Plants have feelings, too.
So you made the tree sad.
Oh, I haven't seen his tree crying.
The whole purpose behind law is to right wrong. I want justice to be something that isn't this foreign concept.
Justice knows no boundaries. The truth will be heard. Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Bill Landers is suing his neighbor, Martha Talla, in the amount of $3,895. He says the defendant cut his tree without his permission and caused it to die. Ms. Talla claims she was within her rights to cut down the branches and is countersuing for the tree's damage to her drain.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Deputy Thomas. Mr. Landers, you're suing your neighbor. Ms. Talla, you're suing your neighbor. Oh, we are not off to a good start here. And yet this case, let me get comfortable, because I have a family member who was also dealing with the exact same issue over a tree. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Landers. Tell me your story.
Well, obviously, Your Honor, I'm here because this crazy lady cut down my tree.
Mm-hmm. And what makes her so crazy?
Wow. I can give you a number of different examples if you'd like.
I'll take one.
Okay. We had a neighborhood watch meeting.
Yes.
She comes to the neighborhood watch meeting, and she complains that too many of the kids in the neighborhood are crossing her yard. So then she says she's going to put up a barbed wire fence.
Barbed wire?
Yeah, like a prison compound.
Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor, but I have the right.
Wait a minute. You want to put up barbed wire in your in front of your home?
I have to put a fence, using a barbed wire around my property because the kids coming to the lawn and messing up my lawn and
Your
the
lawn?
plants in it.
And so you
And
just
that's my right.
Well, why not just put a regular gate? Why does it have to be barbed wire?
Well, that's what I think. I feel good about it, and
You
it's
feel
much
good about
cheaper.
that?
It's much cheaper, Your Honor.
So you feel good about causing damage to someone who touches that barbed wire fence?
No, I don't think that would cause any damage to anybody.
Really?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, why do they think? What do you use barbed wire for?
In order to keep away those kids coming over to my lawn.
Deputy
They're
Thomas,
messing up my...
it's me. Am I missing something?
I was thinking it'd be electrified.
Yeah, I know. Why not? Why not just put an electric fence? And that way you really keep them off.
Oh, I don't think about electric fence. It's
But
just
barbed wire is clearly
Yes.
okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
I see. All right.
Thank God her husband was the one who won out on this. They got a picket fence instead.
Well, picket seems a little bit more appropriate. All right. So we got a picket fence. And that is an example for you of her mindset.
That's one example, yes.
Let's talk about the tree.
Okay. Basically what occurred was, I've lived in this house for about 30 years.
Yes, sir.
The last 15, I've had her as my next door neighbor.
Okay.
I've had to live with this psychotic neighbor for 15 years.
Excuse me.
Now, you know this is not going to go well if you keep referring to her in a disparaging way.
Okay.
Because I'm sure she doesn't think too highly of you.
Yeah, that's
and
my
now,
problem
No, she
with
does
him.
not.
what were you going to say, ma'am?
That's my problem with him. You know, I've known him for 15 years.
Yes.
But trust me, Your Honor, this man
Yes.
caused me and my family grief.
Why does he cause you so much grief?
I'll give you an example.
Give me an example.
Okay. I have noticed that he's been talking to my kids with silly jokes not appropriate for their age. They are ages 5 and 6.
Okay. You're telling 5 and 6-year-olds jokes?
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with the jokes. They're not inappropriate. They're not racy in any way. I mean, they're just little silly things to make them laugh.
Okay.
So I enjoy children. They're fun.
All right.
For you, it's not, but for me as a parent, I know better.
Talk to me. So you don't want him telling
Oh,
your
sorry.
5 and 6-year-old jokes?
Appropriate age jokes, fine, but what I heard from him is not appropriate for their age.
Got it.
I'm the mother concerned of the values I...
So this is so
Alright.
you both have examples of why you don't care for the other. How does all this play out as it relates to the tree?
I planted the tree about 20 years ago.
Yes.
The reason I planted the tree was because I went through a very painful divorce. My ex-wife took the children and moved all the way across the country. So obviously, I was a bit depressed, quite a bit. So I decided to take up gardening and landscaping. Mm-hmm. That tree was the first thing I had ever planted, and it had incredible sentimental value to me.
And what was the sentimental value behind it?
Well, just the fact that it helped me to overcome my depression. It was a gorgeous tree.
Did you go on his property and take it from the stump?
No, I'm not the one who take out the stump. I just hired a company to cut it down.
There's a difference.
Yeah, she didn't cut it down herself. No.
Yes.
No, she didn't cut it down
So
herself.
you didn't physically do it,
No, I'm not the one.
but you made it a point to hire someone
Yes.
to kill the tree.
Yes.
Put
Because
the-
physically, obviously, I'm not able to do so.
I see. Would you acknowledge that the tree was, in fact, on her property line?
No, the tree was not on her property line.
Coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
The tree became very sad.
The tree became sad?
Well, yes, plants have feelings too.
So you made the tree sad.
Oh, I haven't seen his tree crying.
And later,
They were inappropriate to all of my friends. They were drinking our drinks. Like, this was
You
the
are on a
worst
roll
night
now.
ever.
I mean, it's just getting worse and worse the more you talk.
closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. We're back with the case of Bill Landers, who is suing Martha Talla for loss of property.
The branches are hanging on her side, and you see that, and you think she's crazy. Why wouldn't you just be proactive and cut the tree yourself so it wouldn't be a problem?
Well, I did, Your Honor,
especially
but-
if she's telling you, I am really getting tired of these leaves being in my gutters, on my lawn. Why wouldn't you be a good neighbor?
Well, in fact, I was having the tree trimmed twice a year, as I said. She would then take it upon herself. She actually trimmed the tree back even further.
And
on
when
her
she
own.
took it upon herself to trim the tree further, was that based on the fact that branches were on her side?
Right, but she also caused the tree to become
Stop. You said you've been having the tree cut twice a year, but that you even acknowledged that branches were on her side.
Right.
So then twice a year wasn't cutting it. So why wouldn't you be proactive if you're dealing with a crazy neighbor to make sure after she's already complained, she has nothing else to complain about?
Well, because if you cut the tree back as far as she wanted us to cut it back, the tree would become sick and die, which in fact is what happened when she started cutting it herself.
The tree
in
became
fact, the tree
sick.
became sad, and it really upset me.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
The tree became very sad.
The tree became sad?
Well, yes, plants have feelings too.
Okay. So you made the tree sad.
Oh, I haven't seen his tree crying.
Touche.
Hey, her husband Brad knew all about how important that tree was to me, and he made a big point of it. And the other interesting thing is
the two
her
of you had a
husband-
conversation amongst each other?
Yes, we talked quite often, me and her husband. We were fairly good friends, actually.
And
he
did he have a problem
personally
with the tree?
Had no problem with the tree. In fact, he on several times told me he was really happy that it kept the shade on his house and cut back on his electric bills during the summer.
So talk to me about Mr. Talib. Was that the conversation? Did he like having the tree?
I have told my husband about that, but since the two of them keep on talking with each other,
Did your husband have a problem with the tree?
he said he doesn't have a problem, but I have the problem. I'm the one who's going to make decisions in the house. So that's why I cut it down.
So is that what this amount is for?
The amount I have is almost $4,000, Your Honor, and that's to remove. I've got some a bill and a picture of the stump.
And
right
you
here.
want him, in addition to cutting down this man's tree, you want him to pay you?
Yes, Your Honor, because it cost me
She's got some stuff too.
You want him to pay for the cutting of
$913.29.
to the stump?
Because it cost me for the drain repair as well as the labor cost. $913.29.
Is
to be
this
exact.
is this what it was reduced to? The tree?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at that on the plasma.
I mean, I do realize, Your Honor, you thought I was using the wrong terminology when referring to this lady, but I was right.
Of course you're not.
And Mr. Tala, what did he say when you did this?
I'm the one who makes decisions in the house. So there's nothing he can say about it. Anyway, I'm the one who paid for it.
You're something else. Wow. So you had to remove the stump, and then did you plant a maple tree in its place?
We're planting another tree in its place. Yes, we did.
And the stump removal was $3,100?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Ms. Tala, anything else? And you're saying, no, I don't owe you anything, but pay me for the drain repair and labor that was associated with all the leaves from the tree.
Yes.
Got it.
Because without his tree, I would not be paying that kind of cost. It would not cost me that much just to clean my lawn.
Wow. Wow.
Yes, Your Honor. You have sent a receipt in there.
Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, let me start with your counterclaim.
And
that's not going to happen. Not
it
up
cost
in
me
here.
$930.29,
That's not going to
Your
happen.
Honor.
Not today. Not up in here. As it relates to the $3,895 for Mr. Landers, you cannot go on someone else's property and destroy their personal property. He is entitled to be made whole. I will make him whole. The judgment will be in favor of the plaintiff. Had you even sued for emotional distress as a result of the tree, I would have given you that as well.
I also have emotional
You're
distress.
not talking. Because there is some emotional things going on. Judgment in favor of the plaintiff. That is the order. Case closed.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $3,895. The defendant's counterclaim is denied.
I'm glad my neighbor had to pay, but I'm really sad that she's still my neighbor.
If he grows another tree, I'll cut it down.
Coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
I heard a really loud noise, and then I looked from my phone and I saw that these different pieces of wood were shattered in pretty much coming towards me.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Shayla Bourne is suing her cousin Raymond Sharp in the amount of $2,350. She says she damaged her hand while playing baseball with the defendant.
You're at a baseball game, you got hurt.
Yes.
You hurt your hand,
Yes, I did.
and you want him to pay you money now.
Yes, I do.
And so prove your case.
So on June 15th, I went to a baseball game to go see my cousin play.
Yes.
I'm busy working all the time, so I don't really get the chance to
What
go.
type of work do you do?
I'm a hairdresser.
Oh, okay. All right.
And so finally, I took the day off and finally went to his game and went to go see him. I tried to sit pretty close to the baseball diamond, so if I yelled out his name, he'd be able to hear me. So I happened to be taking a picture of myself. It was a beautiful day. So during that time, I heard a really loud noise, and then I looked from my phone and I saw that these different pieces of wood were shattered and pretty much coming towards me. And one of the pieces of wood ultimately hit my hand, and there was blood like everywhere. I pretty much tried to protect my face.
That was pretty scary because
It
you're
was definitely
I'm just at the
traumatizing.
baseball game taking a selfie. How am I all of a sudden with this bloody hand?
Yes.
And you were the one who hit that ball and broke that bat.
Yeah.
So you swinging hard, huh?
Trying to.
What happened?
It was my turn to bat.
Yes.
Ball was coming. I swung as hard as I can and shattered the wooden bat. And
And it was just an accident.
Yeah, could happen to anybody.
All right, so the bottom line is you had injuries. Can you prove that it was $2,350?
Yes,
Show me.
I have
Yes.
evidence.
What sort of evidence do
Yes,
you have?
just that.
So the evidence consists of what, Miss Bourne?
Yes, it pretty much consists of my medical bills.
You had to go to the
and-
hospital. That looks pretty serious. And are you an actual stylist?
Yes.
So with you having your hand injured, did that impact your ability to do hair?
Yes. When I was rushed to the emergency room after the incident happened, ultimately I found out I wasn't going to be able to use my finger because it had broken for about 5 weeks.
Your finger, you broke your finger?
Yes, I broke my finger. The wood pretty much impacted my hand and broke my index finger.
All right, so you're not suing for your medical costs.
No, I'm not.
You're just suing for your lost wages.
Yes, yes,
And
I
so
am.
this document here is how long of a period of time would come up to the $2,350?
Yes, it's about 2 weeks worth of wages minus my booth rental.
Got it.
So what had happened was I called him, telling him about the situation, about how I wanted him to pay this money.
Yes.
And he offered me this deal where he could pretty much plan my birthday and have this big extravagant thing where I'll have unlimited bottle service and all of my friends will have VIP access.
There was no
and
unlimited bottles
We'll be
mentioned.
treated like celebrities and have this amazing,
No.
most wonderful time ever.
She's
and
delusional.
that's definitely what did not happen.
No.
He lied to me. That's not the deal that was brought to me. It was horrible. It was definitely the worst birthday I've ever had.
Why was it so bad?
The service was awful. It took us, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes to even get into the club. We were supposed to be treated like celebrities and just brought right in. They were inappropriate to all of my friends. They were picking us up. They were drinking our drinks. Like, this was
You
the
are on a
worst
roll
night
now.
ever.
I mean, it's just getting worse and worse the more you talk.
Coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
You're saying you gave her everything that
we agreed to.
So, and this was all verbal.
Yes.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. We're back with the case of Shayla Bourne, who is suing Raymond Sharp for lost wages.
She talked about bottle service. Talk to me about that. What was the understanding as to bottle service?
The words were not unlimited. I said you would have enough bottles to share amongst your friends and, well, probably a little bit more.
That is a lie.
And then so
said
this whole
unlimited.
VIP treatment, getting in early, did you do all those things?
Yes.
All right. So when you
Not
said,
true.
and you did all this basically to say, if I do this for you, I won't owe you anything.
Yes.
And you were
And she,
okay with that.
She agreed.
Pretty much he persuaded me and said that it was going to be the most amazing time ever, and everyone knows him around the neighborhood for being well known in the nightclub scene, so I was like, okay,
So
sure.
you trusted that he would deliver on what he told you.
Yes.
And at the same time, you knew that you wanted to be compensated, but if he weren't going to ultimately pay you any money, you were going to still be out of pocket. But you were okay with that. Is that what you're saying?
Ultimately, the agreement was that he was trying to compensate that and avoid all of the legal issues and to make a better experience for me despite this tragic thing that happened. And that's exactly
And you're
what
saying
didn't
you gave
happen.
her everything
that we agreed to.
So, and this was all verbal.
Yes.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. You're watching America's Court with Judge Ross. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, this is easy. The gavel has to come down in favor of the plaintiff. I wasn't up in the club, so I don't know if you actually delivered on what you promised. You will pay her $2,350. That is the order. Case closed.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay